I didn't watch the Senate trial today, so let's assume we know nothing. What do we need to know, Congressman?
Well, the Democrats have really, their message today is basically three things. Number one, that people who support Donald Trump are rioters and seditionists and traitors. That's number one.
Okay.
And number two, they spent a long time laying out a case that the Proud Boys, for many weeks, planned to riot at the Capitol.
Okay.
On January 6th. And and then number three, they kept showing videotapes. I mean, it's the same video over and over, with different variations, slightly different variations of how bad the riots were. So what I would say is, the summation is, from my point of view, is, number one, nobody denies that the riots were bad. Those were bad. They were wrong.
Yes.
They were criminal, etc. Number two, if it were the Proud Boys, if you've made the case that the Proud Boys organized this and put this thing together and conspired to go and cause rioting, guess what you did? You've just said that the Proud Boys are the guys who incited the riot and not President Donald Trump. And then the third thing is, and they admitted this, although you'll never see this on mainstream media, is one of their managers said, look, there were peaceful protesters there and there were rioters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've said the rioters were the Proud Boys. Well, guess what? They've also said the rioters were the ones who organized it. I mean, the Proud Boys were the ones who organized it.
Yeah.
Well, that means your case is that you're done. Factually, you are done.
It's a good point. So go after, if that's who did it, you're saying, the Proud Boys, find out who they were, go after them. I mean, are they trying to tie a connection to President Trump, that he, went to the Proud Boys meeting and was like, hey guys, here's the plan on the back of the napkin? I mean, what are they trying to make a connection there?
No. For them, the fact that he used speech like we've got to stop the steal, or this was a rigged election, everybody knows I won, and we're not going to quit fighting. Those are what we call rhetorical flourishes. Those are things that we say, and in political speech, it happens all the time, and it is a First Amendment right to get out there and say, we're going to fight on. I'm going to fight for what's right. I'm not going to concede. I'm not going to give up, etc. Whatever it may be.
Yes. Well, and
they can't prove there's no nexus.
Well, no, and Jerry Neighbors is here with me, Congressman. He's the former mayor of Flagstaff, and we were in, I was on the council with him at the same time, and we would often call out to supporters and say, "Hey, come down here. We need you to help fight for this issue." And there was never any intent, Jerry, of fight for the issue. I mean, so now, I'm scared for future folks to, we want to get our supporters to something. You can't say, "Hey, come fight for that issue."
Yeah, let's fight this tax hike.
Fight this tax hike. I mean, right, Congressman? I mean, it creates a bad precedent here that we can't do that.
Right. So I mean, they keep saying he should have known that was going to happen when he said, peacefully and patriotically go to the White House and let your voices be heard. I mean, to go to the Capitol and let your voices be heard. He should have known. That's what their point is. He should have known, and that he had the intent for a riot, blah, blah, blah. The reality is they've shown no nexus. And when they keep showing the videotapes or videos over and over again, they take them out of context. They take them out of timeline sequence. And they're doing it to sensationalize. And not once have they yet mentioned that the president said, "Go peacefully." They don't mention that I tweeted out on January 2nd. If you're going to be here to protest or whatever I said, you need to do it peacefully.
Yeah.
Be peaceful. No violence of any kind. That the president condemned violence of any kind. They don't mention yet, and this is going to come out in a couple of days, that the president offered to put 10,000 National Guards troops at the Capitol and was refused by both the mayor and the leadership of the Capitol. You haven't heard that yet because of the structure of this trial.
So, Congressman, it sounds like, and I think this is the hope here, is that there will be enough here for a Republican senator to say, whether I'm Republican or Democrat, it doesn't make any difference. The evidence is just not here.
Yes, That's right. So there's three pegs that they can hang their hat. Number one is what you say, which is the facts of himself. I think he wins on the facts. The second thing is on the Constitution. 44 of them voted yesterday and said, look, this isn't even constitutional. You can't do it this way. And then the third thing is process. I mean, the process in and of itself. When have you ever heard of an impeachment coming in, and they say that they have to impeach immediately because the president at the time, Donald Trump, is so dangerous. We've got to impeach him and remove him from office immediately. So you have 2 hours of debate. They vote on the House floor. They get their impeachment. They don't send it over to the Senate until after he's not in office anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that the process itself is so weird and skewed, and no hearings in the House, no evidence presented in the House, no counsel briefings in the House, nothing. Just going to have 2 hours of debate between Democrats and Republicans.
So, Congressman,
I think there's enough to hang your hat on. Mm-hmm.
Good. The constitutional provision about impeachment goes on to say that nothing about impeachment would preclude a person being charged with treason or sedition or something like that. But there has been no talk whatsoever, has there, about any federal charges being filed against President Trump?
No, there's no talk about that. Probably because, as you and I know, to show sedition, to show treason, to show even inciting riot, there is no evidence. I mean, we could get into the legal case, Brandenburg case, which kind of defines what incitement to riot is, and there has to be intent, there has to be direction, there has to be some kind of indication of expectation and
intent. Yeah, sure. So
you got First Amendment. You got First Amendment rights to say, "Oh, we're going to fight on." Whoa, hey, that nobody meant when we said let's fight on. That when you said we're going to fight the Democrats on these issues, you didn't mean that somebody was going to walk up to a Democrat and smack him in the face. No.
Yeah.
That fight on rhetorically means we're going to use the process and we're going to do everything we can by the process.
It's like Congressman, we had a caller before you came on. He was talking about 1984. It's like changing words. You know, that's what's going on here. Let me ask you, because we are getting tight here, Congressman, and I know you got a bunch to get to as well. We have a couple of problems in this country. We've got serious business. It's like, Rome is burning and let's do this. When they know the votes aren't there, they have to have the 66 or 67 votes. They're never going to get it. So it's all show at this point. I mean, you got like the minimum wage issue. I mean, don't the Democrats want to get back to, raising the minimum wage to like $50 an hour because that's going to be awesome? I mean, there's other stuff to do is my point.
Yeah, there is other stuff to do, and the House is in recess, but I will tell you, Mayor and Jeff, what we're doing is they're having committee hearings. Now, nobody's here. There's 3 Republicans here from the House. That's as far as I know. There's outside of the House managers from the Democrats, we're the only House members in town.
Wow.
And the reality is that we have committee. I've got committee hearings, 2 or 3 over the next 2 days, and everything is on Zoom or something like that, WebEx or whatever whatever their platform is, but it's all remote. And we could be doing stuff, but we are going to be considering the $15 an hour minimum wage because of all things that are important. That is really important to the Democrats, and then a whole host of other crazy things over the next couple of days too in those committee hearings.
Yeah, well, let's do this, Congressman. Go ahead, Jerry. Jerry's got one quick.
I got to ask you this.
Okay,
you follow everything there, of course, in Washington, D.C. You're very attuned to it. Who do you think that the next Republican candidate for president will be someone that right now we don't even recognize their name? Is someone going to come out of the shadows in the next couple of years, or do you think it will be someone who is prominent now?
Jerry wants fast forward to 2024, Congressman.
Jerry, I would. My thought on it right now is it's going to be somebody we will recognize the name.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be anybody who's sitting in Congress, House, or Senate right now. Those are bad places to come from because there's too much Washington bubble swamp on people. But I think I would be looking at some of the better governors, those who've done a good job handling COVID, those who do a good job handling their state and local economies, who do a good job handling the state and local elections, who really can provide some kind of national, at least a minimum national base, and I think that's where I'd be.
We'll
looking.
see.
And then you might see some business people come in too.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Congressman Biggs, hey, I always appreciate your updates.